For spalling out big stuff like this, typically I like to keep my length. I like to keep the thicker portions of the rock. My length would technically be from here through to here, but there's no meat in this little area. So I think I'm gonna keep the meat of it right here. Oh, that is gorgeous. Just gonna spall these out, keep all the little flakes, and then do a little heat treat. For you guys. So I got this Florida coral from a guy named Randy. I've mentioned him in previous videos. It was my first time going to Silver River last year, or this past February, and he had some Florida coral, and I actually got the last bit of it. I mean, people had already ran through almost all his material, so I just got the chump stuff. But this is some really nice material, at least in my opinion. And I don't work Florida coral very much, but figured I'd spall some out. Got a good platform here. Thin flake. Let's go again. Just doing a little bit here. Don't want to do too much. Don't want to ruin our length either. So because of that, I'm gonna come in from the side and try to shoot a flake across here, because there's a low point here. It's not really a keepable flake there. For some of you it might be. I'm gonna switch to a solid copper billet. Might be a keeper. All the maybes I'll probably keep anyways. Just for kicks. That's a maybe. Someone can make a bird point off of it. Okay. Remove some thickness. I can strike right here. Remove some thickness and not really lose length. So let's see if I can set up a platform. There we go. Now this raw coral can either work really, really well or work really, really difficultly. Is that a word, difficultly? I just made it up if it is. Nice pretty flake. Anyways, really I'm just removing a lot of the cortex. That's my primary goal, is just remove some cortex. And I know a lot of people who do heat it with the cortex still on it. I think that's just fine, but I definitely prefer to remove it before I heat it up. Saves room in my very small kiln. And I always make sure that I don't overheat, so I never really have any worries going just straight coral. And believe it or not, I think this will about be okay. Yeah, having a little bit of cortex isn't a bad thing at all. So, and I do like this thickness. Not a bad thickness at all. Pretty good spall. Let me get one more hit here, and I'll show you what we're working with. All right. Now I got a ton of flakes down here below that you can't see. Might do a little bit of removing here. Stuff that would have to come off anyways. So now we got a pretty nice ball. Pretty cleaned off on both sides, except for some cortex here or there. But that's what I like to be left with. I'll put that in this bucket. Then we got all these flakes here. Some larger flakes. I'm gonna put that in the bucket too. we'll keep those. Whoops, didn't mean to move y'all, I'm sorry. That's a throwaway. And now we'll work another piece, so let's see what we got. This is an interesting piece here. A little bit thicker. Can't quite saw it up. I mean, you could. There's a big divot here, gushed out. So I'm thinking about taking a spall here and then keeping the rest as a very big spall. So let's see what we can do. Get my other pad over here. Now, in order to follow this ridge, because it does dive down a bit, I have to hit a little bit high on this platform here. Maybe even up here. I'm not quite sure. It's not the best platform ever. Some pretty material though. Let's see, what if I did this instead? I don't want to remove so much there. I might have to though. Yeah, it might be the best bet. All right, got a pretty good spall. Put that in the bucket. Now this platform doesn't dive down as deep in through here. So I might can run a longer flake along this edge. I was able to kind of catch the edge there. Wow, how beautiful is that? This should be a thumbnail. Should be. That's gorgeous. Beautiful spall, coral. And do a little bit of trimming up here. Everything's just strategical. There's no right or wrong way, but some hits are better than others, so just a matter of learning. I wanted to keep my full length on this entire blade length here. And there are definitely some extra hits I can take. Since this is such a large piece, it would be good to thin it out some. So there's a dip on the base. I'm gonna have to clear this out anyways. I like to come from the side to clear some of the thickness out, if I can. Again, just some small flakes, but nothing too big, nothing crazy. But some stuff to keep, I reckon. Gonna turn this edge over. This might be an overshot, but we're gonna follow this ridge. Not on that one. That's just a setup flake. See, it kind of sets up this platform here. Now, if I get my big bopper, it's really gonna go. I may do it anyways, just cause. All right, so it kind of hinged out on me a little bit. Nonetheless, great spall. And I still got some areas to come in and clean this over here. I want to keep those. Not sure if this will run super well. Did okay. Another little flake there. Might just have to catch this edge from the back. And we can do that once it's heated. So no issues there. I'll raise this edge slightly. Take a flake here. It's a keeper flake. And then might make one hit here. And then kind of call it done. Put it in the kiln. This one's just going to be up towards the tip. So another spall. This definitely needs some heat. It's not one that I want to leave like this in a raw state. I could work it in a raw state, but it'd be better certainly with some heat. In fact, take a chop off the base. Another flake. It's gorgeous, by the way, material. I know I say that often, it's just I'm not used to working this material very often. It's beautiful. Thin it out just a little bit more maybe. Try to overtake this edge. There we go. It's an odd flake, but sometimes that's how they come off. And then you can come back through and thin it just a little bit more. All right, there's our patty, and it's ready to go as well. Put that in the bucket. What's next? What's next? There's a really cool one over here. It's kind of odd shaped. So check out this odd shaped one. This is some really pretty material. Beautiful stuff. But how are we going to maximize our stone? Now, if you look at this in a 3D way, we could take that face there, and then this side, we could just knock off some thinning flakes until we get up to that biface. Option 1. Option 2, we leave this as a biface, which I actually quite like, because we can run a large flake here down the edge and have 2 pretty decent sized pieces. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with there. Something like that. Now I'm gonna hit pretty high. I don't want it to overshoot, or I want it to get close, but I don't want it to overshoot. Okay, so there's a little crack running down it. I don't think it goes too far though. Looks like a manageable one. We can also run another flake as we catch this edge. Again, not a thick one, but just something. Another pretty cool spall. Got another one next to it. Again, we're not sacrificing our length because our length is up here. Here we go. That was an overshot. And look at that. Gorgeous. So we lost a little bit off the edge, but we might have lost maybe a 1/4 of an inch, but we get a really good spall off of that. I mean, that's more than hand size. So really, really nice. And then from this point, this just pretty much becomes a spall on its own. I actually like the length. Let's see if we're looking at it from the side. I want to keep this as the tip. Then our base should be symmetrically about right here. So we can shave off the bottom, shave a little off the top. Makes sense? Hope so. Again, keeping all the small stuff. I don't want y'all thinking that I'm wasteful. Some of you might think that. I hope that you don't, because I am surrounded by a sea of rocks right here. This one might be a slight overshot. Nah, that'll make a knife or a bowline. Okay, now this was where the original bulb of percussion was, which is where the original strike was off the original rock. So there's a crack going through it that I need to take care of before we do anything else. It's an internal crack that can give you problems if you don't handle it right away Usually it's not an issue if you can get right up there to it. Good Spall. And here's where that crack is. Okay, we got up there to it, and I don't think that'll stay in the stone. I think that'll come out with ease as this stone moves along. Trying to get it out completely here, and pretty much did that. I don't think that'll cause us any issues. Okay. So not too shabby. What time are we at? 16 minutes? Let me do one more, just because I can. So another big Spall. And then maybe I'll show you my bucket near the end. What would be a good one? This is an odd shaped one, a larger piece. It's not really one you can slab because it's pretty skinny, and you could slab it. This is a solid chunk here. I'm trying to figure out how to salvage it. I think hitting straight down here. So this will be one I have to put on the ground. Hold here. And pray for the best. Okay. Well, it did pretty much what I wanted it to. Looks like it's a little bit more grainy than I thought, but still a pretty good Spall. I'll put it over here. I want to reduce it a little bit more. And now we have the bulk of this, which could slab that. But anyways, let me work a different one. And I'll do it very quickly, whichever one I choose. Maybe something like this, because this does have a crack on that side. It's an odd shape, but some beautiful material nonetheless. How do we want to tack this? That crack I don't like. Okay, I'm seeing this Spall as you come across. That would remove some of that chatter. It's not a great Spall, but it's something. And it might help us. So it went up to that little area. Okay. The snail. Y'all didn't tell me about the snail. I'd like to hit it from the base, kinda. Like from right here. And just kind of skim. Maybe I can do it from right here. And again, just kind of hope for the best. I don't really have a platform to drive off this face, and there's a crack there, so I'm just gonna do something wild here. Something came off. Okay, really interesting flake or Spall there. Now obviously I want to keep my length, so even if I only get one piece out of this, I'll be fine. That might be what I have to do. We're gonna remove a big Spall here. Well, it stopped short, which is okay. I'll keep these two. This one I'll try to undershoot if I can. Just wasn't quite able to. Still getting some decent flakes. Keeping my overall length, which is what I want to do. I want to wrap it on that rough area there. I just don't know if I can. That's why I'm bringing y'all along with me, because we're experimenting. There's a big Spall off the base. Whew, that is pretty. Sometimes you gotta tap it. Pretty. That's where that crack rolls in. Ooh, that comes in pretty deep. See that crack right there? I'm getting rid of it right now. Ought to be a decent Spall too. Yeah, there we go. And that's why there was so much color there, is because some water seeped in. And you get all sorts of weird colors on this coral. Now we got a very pointy rock that I think we can work with, guys. There's still some little cracks here and there that we're gonna have to fool around with, but I'm very curious what this will turn out post heat treat. Curious what kind of colors we'll pick up, what kind of colors we may lose, and just what'll happen in general. This is a very pretty piece. It's just so odd to get to the good strikes. Having to abrade in very weird ways to get the strikes I want. I don't even know if this will work out here. No, not quite. See if I can come from the base. I want to get this off before I leave you guys. There we go. I just hit kind of high. Perfect. It's really all I needed to do. I can work the rest later on. Got a good Spall here. I can take, still a crack in there. Looks like it got it out though. Anyways, I just thought I'd come on here, Spall a little bit for you. Do a little something, something. And get some pretty nice bifaces, so, or Spalls ready for the heat treatment. So here's what we got. Big piece, another big Spall. These are just our big pieces here. That's technically a decent size. Got our big patty. Another big candier piece. Pretty decent size piece there, and then some other decent size chunks, like that maybe, like this here. And then might be a few big ones down in here I'm missing, but pretty productive. I'm happy with that. I'll take it. Might do a little bit more reducing on these, but I'm excited. As y'all know, I love working big blades. I love working deep south points, and so this is going to help me a lot. And what am I going to make out of this honker? Well, y'all just have to stay tuned to a later video and you'll find out. But thank y'all for watching. Appreciate it. Hope y'all learned something. And if you want to, give me a like and leave a comment, and I'll try to respond to you. Y'all take care.